Imagine for a moment you're just sitting there, totally still, and all your thoughts suddenly stopped. Would you just disappear? Or would you still be there?
Oh, that's a great question to start with. It really sets the stage for what we're getting into today.
Which is,
In this deep dive, we're going to really unpack a core insight from Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're looking at the very first chapter, You Are Not Your Mind.
right, and that title alone, I mean, for anyone who's explored this kind of stuff, it immediately resonates. Because we really do tend to think that voice inside our head is us, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. It's almost the default assumption for most people.
So what's Tolle's counter-argument?
Well, the core idea he puts forward is that actually we aren't that voice. We're the observer behind it, the awareness. Think of it like the sky watching the clouds drift by.
The clouds being the thoughts.
Exactly. The sky isn't the clouds, it just holds the space for them. So if you can notice your thoughts, if you can be aware that you are thinking, well, that means you must be separate from the thoughts themselves. You're the space, the awareness.
Okay, I see. You're the witness.
Precisely. And that distinction between the thinker and the awareness of the thinker, that's where things get really interesting. It's fundamental to his whole approach.
And it feels like our minds actively fight against that, right?
Yeah.
They seem designed to pull us away from just being here.
Yeah.
Always jumping to the past or worrying about the future. Why do they do that?
That's sort of the mind's nature, isn't it? Its job is to analyze, compare, remember, plan.
Constantly processing.
Constantly. So it naturally drifts to past events, regrets, memories, old stories, or it projects into the future, anxieties, plans, what-ifs. And Tolle's point is this constant mental time travel basically stops us from experiencing the peace or joy that's only available right now, in the present moment.
Because we're mentally somewhere else entirely.
Always somewhere else.
So what's the danger Tolle sees in always identifying with that inner voice, that stream of thought?
Well, he's clear the mind isn't bad. It's an essential tool, obviously. We need it to function, solve problems, create things.
Sure.
But the problem arises when we become its servant, when we unconsciously let its chatter, the judgments, the fears, the narratives dictate our feelings and actions. That's when the tool becomes the master.
And turns into a source of
Pain, anxiety, stress, yeah. According to Tolle, that identification is the root of a lot of suffering. So the big question becomes, how do you flip that relationship? How do you go from being run by the mind to, using it consciously?
It sounds almost deceptively simple, but I've noticed this myself. The moment you even begin to grasp, oh, wait, that thought isn't me, there's this immediate sense of space, like a bit of peace opens up.
Yes. That's it, exactly. It's like you've stepped back from the noise. And Tolle says that peace comes because you're momentarily stepping out of the mind's constant cycle of judging, resisting, wanting.
You're not feeding it energy anymore.
Right. Think about how much energy we spend fighting our own thoughts. He gives a really practical example in the book. Let's say you notice a negative thought pattern running where it's crediting. Maybe it's frustration or self-criticism.
Okay.
If you can just observe it and think, there's that frustration thought again, or, okay, that's the inner critic voice, without getting swept away by it, it starts to lose its grip.
You're not identifying with it?
You're not identifying, you're just noticing. And this recognition, seeing yourself as the awareness, not the thought stream, Tolle presents this as the crucial first step. It's not about stopping thoughts, which is a common misconception.
Good point.
It's about changing your relationship to them, seeing them for what they are, just thoughts, passing events in your consciousness.
So for you listening, maybe wondering how to start with this, Tolle offers a really simple practice right in this chapter. He suggests maybe once or twice a day, just pause whatever you're doing.
Just for a moment.
Yeah, just take a beat and actively listen to that voice in your head. Notice what it's saying. Then ask yourself, am I this voice? Am I this thought? Or am I the one who's aware of this thought?
It sounds so basic, doesn't it?
Almost too basic.
But doing that consistently, even for short moments, it gradually trains you to disidentify. It brings you back to the present, back to yourself as the observer. It really does start to cultivate a sense of inner peace and presence over time. It's a shift in perspective, really.
Okay, so let's recap the big takeaway from this first chapter, this deep dive. The core insight is, you are not the endless stream of thoughts, the chatter, the narrative in your head. You are the awareness behind it, the observer.
Spot on. And once you start to even slightly grasp that you are not your mind, well, then another question naturally pops up, doesn't it?
Which is?
If I'm not my mind, then who am I? And can really understanding that lead to, a way out of suffering, a kind of liberation?
Those are the deeper waters Tully starts navigating next. And perhaps where we could go in our next deep dive, looking directly at his next chapter, which is titled Chapter 2, Consciousness, the Way Out of Pain.
That sounds like a natural progression.
Yeah, definitely something to ponder.
Yeah.
So until next time, we encourage you to just notice that voice in your head. See if you can catch yourself being the awareness behind it. So, have you ever really stopped to wonder about where suffering actually comes from? I mean, is it always, an accident or
I-
something external happening to us?
Yeah, that's usually our first assumption, isn't it? We tend to look outside ourselves, blame circumstances, other people.
Right. But what if? What if a lot of the pain we feel is something we're kind of creating ourselves internally?
Well, it's getting right to the heart of it. It's a challenging idea.
It is. And it's actually precisely the point Eckhart Tolle makes in the material we're getting into today. He says, and it's quite a statement, most of the pain we create ourselves in our own minds.
Wow. Yeah, that's direct.
Totally. And the amazing thing is, he doesn't just leave it there. He immediately suggests the way out is through consciousness or, simply awareness.
It's quite elegant, really. Connecting the problem, this self-created pain, directly to its solution, becoming more aware. It makes awareness feel very practical, not just some abstract idea.
Exactly. So for you listening, that's our mission in this deep dive, to really explore this. What is this pain Tolle is talking about? And crucially, how can awareness actually be the path to, freedom from it?
It's a fundamental question about our inner lives.
Okay, so if we are creating some of this pain, how does that actually work? What's the mechanism? The material digs into this concept of the pain body.
Right, the pain body. It's not a physical thing, obviously. Think of it more like an accumulation of old emotional energy. All the unresolved stuff, past anger, sadness, hurt, it forms this kind of energy field we carry around.
Like an energetic residue of past negativity? So it just sits there.
Well, not exactly passively. It actually wants to be active. And it gets triggered primarily when we revisit old painful memories, consciously or not. But also, and this is key, when we start generating worries about the future, fear, anxiety, that also feeds it.
So it draws energy from both the past and the future. That's interesting.
It is. It constantly pulls us away from the only time that's actually real.
Which leads to the core reason why we seem to keep experiencing our own pain, according to this work.
Exactly. The big revelation here is that we keep reliving this stuff simply because we're not fully present. We're not grounded in the now. That's the root of the problem, you see.
Because our minds are elsewhere.
Right. Lost in what happened yesterday, or anxious about what might happen tomorrow. And that's exactly the fuel the pain body needs to keep going.
Makes sense. So we're caught. Which brings us nicely to what the material calls the trap of past and future.
Yeah, it lays it out pretty clearly. You've got people who are mostly stuck in the past. They're often just consumed by regret, maybe guilt about things they can't change. Their energy is just backwards.
Constantly replaying things.
Well-
I think we could all relate to that sometime.
Oh, absolutely. And then on the flip side, you have the future worriers.
Uh-huh. The what-if crowd.
Precisely. Just tangled up in fear and anxiety about what might come, which of course completely robs them of any peace in the present moment.
So two different directions, past and future. But the same result, really ongoing suffering.
That's it. But the material offers a very clear way out of this trap.
Which is,
The power of the now, the present moment.
right, the now. It's emphasized so strongly. How does being present actually stop the pain? What's the logic there?
Well, when you're truly here, fully conscious in this moment, the mind's stories, those constant narratives about past failures or future disasters, they start to lose their power. They just fade.
Because you're not feeding them energy.
Exactly. You're anchoring yourself in reality, right here, right now. And the pain body, it basically starts to starve because its fuel source, getting lost in thought, dries up. The pain begins to dissolve.
Okay, presence is the key then.
Okay.
But how do we actually do that? How do we cultivate that presence? This brings us to the power of consciousness.
Yes. Consciousness or awareness is presented as the tool. The core idea is the more you can simply observe your thoughts and your emotions without getting swept away by them, the less control they have over you. It's like stepping back and watching the show instead of being an actor in it. You become the observer.
I like that. The material uses a great analogy too. Awareness is like light dispelling darkness.
It's a perfect metaphor, isn't it? Because darkness literally can't survive in the presence of light. And similarly, that dense, heavy energy of the pain body finds it very hard to maintain itself when you shine the light of your awareness on it.
So it's not about fighting the darkness, but just bringing the light.
Precisely. It's not about struggling against the pain, it's about seeing it clearly.
Okay, just observing sounds. Well, almost too simple sometimes. How does mere observation lead to the pain actually dissolving? What's the process?
It's subtle, but really profound. When you watch the pain, the anger, the sadness, whatever it is, with this quality of awareness, without resisting it, that's the absolute key.
No fighting it.
No fighting, no judging, no trying to push it away. When you just allow it to be there and observe it, it gradually loses its energy. Resistance is what feeds it. Pure observation allows it to just dissipate.
Okay, wow. Non-resistance is crucial. This sounds like something people can actually try. Is there a practical tip, like a specific exercise we can share from the source?
Yes, definitely. There's a very clear, practical approach outlined. It's basically 3 steps. First, when you feel that tension or anger or any emotional pain arise, the first step, and it feels counterintuitive, is do nothing to change it. Don't immediately try to fix it or push it away.
That's hard. Our instinct is to get rid of bad feelings.
It really is. That's step 1. Non-intervention. Step 2 is to simply feel the emotion in your body. Where is it? What's the actual physical sensation of that anger or fear? Just feel the energy of it without getting lost in the story about it.
Okay, feel the raw energy. And step 3?
Step 3 is just to observe it. Pure observation, without reacting. That means no mental commentary, no judgment, no acting on the impulse it might create. Just watch it impartially.
Don't resist. Feel the energy. Observe without reacting. Okay, so if someone actually commits to doing that, what happens? What's the outcome?
What happens over time with practice is you start to become detached from the pain. You break that identification. You see it's an energy passing through you. It's not who you are. And in that space, this gradual sense of freedom starts to emerge, real freedom from the inside.
That's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
So this whole deep dive really lands on this core idea. Being present, truly present, is the pathway out of so much of the pain we experience.
It absolutely reframes it, doesn't it? Shifts the focus from blaming the outside world to understanding our internal landscape and positions awareness as the key to liberation.
It really does. Which naturally leaves us with a pretty big question. I bet it's on your mind right now, listening to this. If being present is the way to freedom,
Yeah.
well, how do you actually do that? How do you go deeply into the now?
The million-dollar question.
Is there a simple practice, something straightforward that can really teach us how to live there in the present moment?
Well, those are exactly the questions that the next part of this material tackles head on.
And that's where we'll be heading in our very next deep dive. It's actually titled Chapter, Moving Deeply into the Now. We're looking forward to exploring that with you. Have you ever felt that persistent tug of emotional pain? You know, the kind that isn't just from stubbing your toe, but something deeper, something that just seems to stick around. Well, what if I told you that maybe a big chunk of that suffering isn't actually caused by, what happens to you, but by something completely within your own control?
That's a really challenging idea for most people.
Right. So today, we're doing a deep dive into some profound insights from Eckhart Tolle. We're looking at key parts of his work. Our mission here is really to unpack this pretty radical idea he has that most of our pain, it's self-created.
Yeah.
And more importantly, to give you some practical tools, some ways to find the path out of it by really embracing the present moment.
It's a concept that really flips the script on how we usually think about suffering, doesn't it?
Totally.
Tolle's suggesting that a lot of our discomfort isn't, a direct result of our circumstances, but something born inside our own minds.
Okay, so let's get into that. Tolle says something really powerful, almost unsettling. He says, most pain we create ourselves in our mind. That makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Because we're so used to thinking pain comes from out there. Accidents, misfortunes, other people.
Right, the external trigger.
Exactly. So when he says it's self-created, what does he actually mean by that? What's he pointing to?
He's asking us to look beyond that immediate trigger, And what's really fascinating is his idea of the pain body.
Right, the pain body. Okay.
He describes it as more than just a metaphor. It's like this energetic field, almost a storage container for old emotional pain.
Old pain, like what?
Like accumulated anger, hurt, sorrow, stuff that's built up over your life. Think of it like an old wound that didn't quite heal properly. It's just sitting there, ready to get activated.
Activated? How?
Well, it tends to flare up when we start dwelling on past hurts, replaying those old tapes in our head, or when we project anxieties into the future, worrying about what might happen.
Ah, okay. So it's not just that we feel bad about something new happening now.
No, often we're actually tapping into and reliving this stockpile of old pain.
Which means we can get caught in these loops, right? Just re-experiencing our own suffering over and over,
Yeah.
just because our mind isn't fully here in the present.
Exactly. That's the trap.
Wow.
It's
That's a bit uncomfortable to really think about.
It really highlights this trap of living mentally in the past or the future. If your mind is constantly stuck back there in yesterday,
You're drowning in regret, guilt, all that stuff.
right. And if it's always leaping ahead into tomorrow,
Then it's fear and anxiety running the show.
precisely.
Right.
So this raises a really important question. If we're so easily pulled into the past or future, where does this pain actually lose its power? Where's the off switch?
And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Tolle says the now, the present moment, is the only place where that pain loses its grip. So what is it about this moment, right now, that disarms it? Is it just that we stop thinking those painful thoughts, or is something deeper happening with our awareness?
It's definitely deeper.
Yeah.
When you're fully conscious, truly present, those stories the mind creates.
The ones that feed the pain body.
Yeah, exactly. Those narratives, they start to fade because they've got no new fuel. Think of your consciousness like a light.
Okay.
And awareness is the act of shining that light directly on what is right here, right now, when your awareness is fully on this present moment.
Then those stories,
Yeah.
the echoes of the past, the shadows of the future, they just lose their power.
They dissolve because your energy, your attention, isn't feeding them anymore. It's here, now.
That's a great analogy. Awareness like a light dissolving darkness. But, okay, here's something I wonder. If the key is observing pain with awareness but without resistance,
Uh-huh.
I can imagine someone listening thinking, wait, isn't it important to process past trauma? Shouldn't I work through it? Doesn't resisting pain feel, well, natural when something hurts?
That's a really crucial distinction. Yeah.
How does Tolle's idea of being now avoid just being suppression?
It's not about suppression at all or ignoring what happened. It's about not adding a layer of mental resistance on top of the pain that's already there.
Ah, okay.
See, processing past trauma often happens most effectively when you can do it from a place of presence, where you can observe the emotion without getting completely swept away by it.
Without identifying with it.
Exactly. Without letting your mind spin endless stories about it, the moment you mentally resist an emotion, I shouldn't feel this, this is awful, you actually give it more energy.
You feed it.
You feed it. So a practical tip he gives, and it sounds almost too simple, is this. When you feel that tension, that anger, that emotional pain, resist the urge to immediately try and fix it or change it or even analyze it.
Okay, so don't jump to analyze or fix. What then?
Instead, just
Yeah.
gently feel the emotion. Where is it in your body? Notice its energy, its raw sensation. Just observe it without reacting.
That feels, counterintuitive. We usually want to push discomfort away immediately.
I know, right? But the benefit of doing that, of just observing without reacting, is huge. It helps you create space. You start to detach from the pain.
So you're no longer being the anger, you're aware of the anger.
Precisely. You shift from I am angry to I am aware of a feeling of anger within me. That small shift in perspective, it's incredibly liberating over time.
It's like watching a storm from inside the house instead of being caught out in the rain.
That's a perfect way to put it. Witnessing, not becoming.
Okay, that makes sense. Which brings us to the next big piece, the real path to freedom, maybe. If being present is the way out of this self-created pain, how do we actually do that in our world, which is just full of distractions? How do we really step into the now?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Tolle gives us this foundational truth. Only the present moment is real. What does that actually mean in practice?
It's fundamental because our minds are like time machines, constantly jumping around. But if you really stop and think about it, the past, it's just a memory trace in your mind now.
Right, a thought happening now.
And the future, it's imagination, another thought happening now. Life itself, the actual experience of living, always unfolds in the now. Always.
The past was once now, the future will be now when it gets here.
Exactly. So the now isn't just a moment. It's the only reality you ever actually experience directly. You can't live in yesterday or tomorrow. You only live here.
And yet, our minds are so good at avoiding it. We're always making excuses, aren't we?
Constantly.
I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I can relax after the holidays. Or endlessly going over, why did that have to happen back then?
It's a constant deferral, isn't it? Pushing real living off into some imaginary future or getting lost in a non-existent
Yeah,
past.
avoiding what's actually here.
And that's why Tolle really hammers this point. Genuine life, real happiness, authentic peace. It's always found in the now. Your mind will try and convince you otherwise, but it's lying.
Okay, so the mind has these strategies to pull us away. How do we cut through them? How do we actually anchor ourselves in the now? Toll offers 3 paths, right?
Yes, 3 practical ways. The first is observation.
Just watching your thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. Simply observing them without judgment. The very act of witnessing them starts to diminish their power over you. You're not fighting them, you're just noticing them arise and pass. It creates this space.
Okay, observation. What's the second path?
The second is body awareness. This is super direct.
Like focusing on your breath.
Your breath, your heartbeat, the feeling of your feet on the floor, maybe warmth or tingling in your hands. Any physical sensation. It instantly pulls your attention out of the mental noise and grounds you in the physical reality of this moment.
An anchor.
A powerful anchor, a direct route into the now.
And the third one, which I find really, really powerful, is acceptance.
Ah, yes, acceptance.
This is about accepting whatever's happening in this moment without resistance. And the distinction he makes is so critical. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance leads to peace.
But it's important to clarify, acceptance doesn't mean you have to like the situation or that you become passive and do nothing.
Right. It's not resignation.
No. It's acknowledging what is right now without that added layer of internal struggle that this shouldn't be happening, fight in your head. That mental resistance is often where the real suffering kicks in and multiplies.
Got it. So observation, body awareness, acceptance. Can you give us another really practical, everyday exercise for this?
Absolutely. Something incredibly simple you can do anytime, anywhere. Just pause for maybe 10 seconds.
Just stop.
Just stop and consciously notice something in your immediate environment with your full attention. Use your senses.
Like what specifically?
It could be anything. The feeling of the air on your skin is cool, warm, the sounds around you, near and far. The light in the room, maybe just the physical sensation of your own breathing, the rise and fall.
Just pick something and really notice it.
With full sensory attention. And the immediate benefit.
What happens?
It tends to dissolve anxiety and stress, even if just for that moment. When your attention is fully occupied with sensory input, with what's actually here.
It has less energy left over for worrying or regretting?
Exactly. It cuts the fuel line to the anxious thoughts. It's like hitting a mini reset button for your nervous system, bringing you right back into the present.
It grounds you.
It grounds you instantly.
So the big realization here is that living in the know isn't just some, lofty spiritual idea.
Not at all.
It's actually a practical skill, an art of living, as Tolle puts it.
Yes, it's a skill you cultivate through practice.
And someone who gets better at this art, they naturally reduce a lot of that unnecessary stress, that pointless, self-inflicted suffering in their life.
Significantly. It really is the path to reclaiming your inner peace, your inner freedom.
That's a really powerful takeaway. It leaves us with something to chew on, doesn't it? A final thought to ponder. If being fully present, being in the know, is the fundamental truth of life, it's the only place we ever actually... Why is our mind so incredibly adept, so persistent in devising these strategies to pull us away from it?
Yeah, why the constant escape attempts?
And maybe the bigger question, is it truly possible for us, day to day, moment to moment, to really recognize these mind patterns as they happen and consciously choose not to follow them, to actually choose to inhabit the T now more fully?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Can we catch ourselves? Can we really live there?
Something to definitely reflect on. So have you ever noticed this? You try to quiet your mind, be present, and bam, thoughts about the past or future just rush in.
Oh, definitely. It happens all the time.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
Well, Eckhart Tolle put it really well, didn't he? He said, the mind is a master strategist, and its biggest trick is to lead you away from the now.
That hits the nail on the head. And that's really our mission for this deep dive, isn't it?
Right.
We're going to unpack those specific mind strategies, or mankichalan, as the source material calls them, these little tricks the mind plays.
The ones that pull us out of the present moment.
Exactly. And understanding them, really getting how they work, it's kind of a shortcut to actually being more present, more aware.
Okay, let's unpack this then. How does the mind actually manage to pull us away? It sounds almost deliberate.
It can feel that way.
Like a cunning illusionist.
Yeah.
And maybe the first trick, the most common one, is getting us stuck in the past,
Right.
ruminating.
Yeah, totally. Keeping you tangled up in things that are long gone.
Have you noticed your own mind doing that? Maybe thoughts like, why did they have to do that to me?
Or the classic, oh, if only I'd done that differently, my life would be so much better now.
Urged, yes.
That one. And what's really key here, based on the source, is why the mind does this. It's not really about learning or resolving.
No.
Not primarily. It's more about keeping that old pain, that old story alive. It's like rewatching a sad movie over and over.
So it prevents you from actually engaging with now.
Precisely. It prevents you from seeing what's actually here, and it ties into the mind's desire for control, even over things that are, done and dusted.
Okay, so past is one big trap. But then, just as you might start untangling from that.
Well, throws you into the future.
Exactly. The future projection trick.
Yeah.
Creating all these scenarios, often loaded with anxiety or maybe desire.
We've all been there, that what-if loop.
What if I don't get that job? Or
Yeah.
what if I mess up this exam? It can just spiral.
Yeah, the fear side is huge. But it's not just fear, is it? There's also that other side, almost a kind of greed.
Greed.
Greed. How do you mean?
Well, the mind whispering, okay, I'll be happy when.
I'll finally relax after I get this promotion, or when I buy that house.
Ah, right. Delaying happiness until some future condition is met. I get that.
But here's the really profound insight from the source material. It kind of flips the script.
Okay.
The future never actually arrives as the future. Think about it. When that someday you're waiting for actually comes.
It's just now.
It's just another now. It will be the present moment when it arrives, realizing this is fundamental. The only time you can ever actually be is right now.
Wow. Okay, that's big. Past, future.
Yeah.
What else? The mind's got more tricks up its sleeve, right?
Oh, definitely. Another really subtle one, almost sneaky, is this illusion of identity.
Identity. You mean like
Yeah.
who we think we are?
Exactly. How the mind ties us so tightly to roles and labels. The source gives examples like, I am a doctor.
Or I am successful, or even I am unlucky.
Yeah, these labels, we build our whole sense of self around them. They become our story.
And sometimes they feel really solid, like, that is who I am.
But here's the aha moment from the text. These identities, they're temporary. They're not the real you.
Wait, so doctor, successful, unlucky, those are me.
They're roles you play, stories you might tell yourself, or conditions you experience. But your true identity, as the source describes it, isn't a label. It's more like a presence.
A presence.
Yeah, that deeper awareness behind all the thoughts and labels, the part of you that just is, that observes everything, even when the roles change. The silent witness.
Okay.
Mm.
That really makes you think. If these labels aren't the real me, then what is?
Exactly. It's a powerful question to sit with.
So, looking at all these strategies, getting stuck in the past, worrying about the future, clinging to identities, why? Why does the mind do all this stuff? It seems like a lot of effort just to avoid the present.
It does seem like that, yeah. And the underlying reason, according to the source, is actually pretty straightforward. Control. The mind wants to remain in control. Always.
Control. How so?
Well, think about it. If you become fully aware, fully present in the now, the mind, with its constant chatter and analysis, kind of loses its job. Its power diminishes.
Ah, I see. So it keeps us busy with the past and future.
Or locked into these fixed identities.
To maintain its grip.
To stay
in the driver's seat.
Exactly. It's like the mind is supposed to be a tool, a servant, but it's somehow become the master. And it fights to keep that position by keeping you lost in thought, away from the power of pure awareness in the now. It's a constant, subtle power play.
Right. Okay. This is fascinating, but also maybe a little daunting. If the mind is so tricky, what can we actually do? How do we start to, come back to the present?
Yeah, and this is where it gets really practical and hopeful. Understanding the problem is step one, but the source gives us tools.
Good. Tools are good.
Absolutely. And they're simpler than you might think. First, there's what you could call the awareness button.
Awareness button.
Just the simple act of noticing. Noticing when your mind has wandered off into the past or the future. That's it. Just seeing it happen.
Okay, just notice.
No judgment.
Ideally, yes. Just notice and then gently bring your focus back to this moment. That's the first step.
Okay. Notice and return. What else?
Second, a really powerful anchor. Focus on your breath.
Ah, breathing. We hear that a lot in mindfulness.
For good reason. The source highlights it as maybe the easiest and most direct way to ground yourself in the present. Your breath is always happening now. You just observe it in, out, simple.
Always available. Okay. And the third thing?
The third strategy is about stopping labeling.
Stop labeling, meaning?
Meaning, try not to immediately slap a label of good or bad onto every single experience or feeling.
Oh, that's hard. We do that automatically. This is good. This is bad.
We do. But the practice is to just observe. Just see it, feel it, experience it as it is, without the added layer of judgment or story. It's a profound shift away from the mind's commentary.
Just see and feel. Okay. That takes practice, I imagine. Definitely. Like any skill.
And wasn't there also a really tangible, like, daily tip in the material? Something you can do right away?
Yes. A very practical one. Try consciously checking in with your mind, say 2 or 3 times during your day.
Checking in how?
Just pause for a second and ask yourself, where is my attention right now? Am I lost in the past? Am I projecting into the future? Or am I actually here, present?
Just asking that question.
Just asking. That simple act of awareness, that check-in, starts to loosen the mind's automatic grip. It shines a light on the tricks, and they lose some power just by being seen.
Okay. That feels doable. Just a few check-ins.
Exactly. Small steps.
So putting this all together, understanding these tricks, having these tools, what's the bigger picture here? What does it all mean for us?
Well, the core realization from the source isn't that the mind itself is bad. It's not the enemy.
Right. It's a tool.
It's an incredibly powerful tool. The problem arises when we become its slave, when we let it run the show completely and pull us away from our actual lives unfolding in the present.
So understanding these mankichalen, these strategies.
It marks the beginning of a shift, a journey towards reclaiming your own presence, your own power. It's about moving towards the freedom and, honestly, the peace that comes from being truly present.
A journey towards the power of presence. I like that.
But, this whole discussion, it kind of leaves us with one more big, thought-provoking question right from the source material.
Okay.
If understanding these tricks helps us come back to the now, is being in the now, just like a little practice we do sometimes, a technique? Or is it actually a distinct state of being, something we could potentially learn to live in more permanently? Not just visit, but inhabit.
Wow. Okay. Is presence a practice, or is it a place we can live?
That's the question to chew on.
That really is something to mull over, isn't it?
Yeah.
A fantastic question to leave us with as we continue exploring this. Thanks for diving deep into this today. It's given us a lot to think about.
My pleasure. It's crucial stuff.
You ever notice how your mind just takes off sometimes? Like a runaway train constantly pulling you away from, well, right now.
Oh, absolutely.
1 minute you're kind of replaying something that happened yesterday, the next you're completely lost worrying about next week. It's universal, isn't it?
It really is. Our minds are amazing tools, but yeah, they can easily trap us, stuck in the past or anxious about what's coming.
Right. But what if there was a way, a really powerful way, to sort of step out of that loop, to quiet things down and really anchor yourself in the present moment?
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Yeah, today we're going deep into this really profound concept from our source material. The distikale having a limitation. We're calling it the state of presence, or presence-ki-siti. And look, this isn't about, emptying your mind or trying to escape reality or anything like that. It's more like it's a state that happens when you start to understand how your mind works, its patterns, and you consciously choose to come back. Right here, to the now.
And what's really fascinating, pulling from the source here, is that it's less about adding something new and more about uncovering what's already there.
Okay.
When you actually step into this state of presence, you get this profound sense of just being.
Being.
Yeah. And it's remarkably free from all that unnecessary thought, free from the sort of pain that often tags along with those thoughts. It's characterized by just pure peace.
Pure peace, not dependent on what's happening outside.
Exactly. It's not about changing your circumstances to find peace. It's a fundamental shift, really, in where you locate your sense of self. That's often the big surprise for people, realizing peace isn't just out there.
Okay, so our mission then for this deep dive is to explore what presence really means, what it actually feels like to experience it, firsthand, and the pretty significant benefits it brings.
Yeah, the transformative potential.
Right. And we're drawing all this from the insights in our source. Okay, let's unpack this a bit.
Let's do it.
We've touched on the feeling, but let's get into the definition a bit more. The sources describe presence as like living purely in the now, right? Feeling this deep tranquility that's kind of hidden underneath all your thoughts.
Hidden is a good word.
What seems counterintuitive, maybe, is that it's not about emptying your mind. I think that's a common misconception.
It really is.
It's more about this alert awareness. You're fully conscious,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not lost in the endless chatter, the voices in your head.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting, how it shifts our perspective. In presence, you actually rise above your ego, above your personal story.
Okay, the ego as the storyteller. Makes sense.
Yeah, think of it like that. It's constantly narrating your past, predicting your future, telling you who you are.
Right.
In presence, you shift. You become more like the listener to that story instead of being completely trapped inside it.
Ah, okay. That detachment.
That detachment, yeah,
Okay.
that's what lets you sort of transcend its limits. As soon as you become really aware, fully aware in the present, you might notice, well, the mind's voice starts to quiet down gradually,
And you perceive things differently.
much more clearly. You might notice, the coolness of the air, the actual clarity of sounds around you, maybe even subtle feelings inside your own body. In that moment, it's not just feeling alive, it's like you truly feel you're living.
Yeah.
It's that space before thought kicks in, the fundamental I am.
The observer.
The observer, yes. Observing everything without judgment, free from all the labels and concepts the mind usually slaps onto things.
So once you get even a glimpse of this state, the obvious question is, okay, great, but what's in it for me?
Right.
And that's where the power, the transformative aspect you mentioned, really shows up. Our sources seem to highlight three big benefits, and they kind of build on each other.
Mm-hmm.
First, there's this deep inner peace. So instead of the mind being this source of tension, always replaying old stuff or inventing future worries.
Right, that constant churning.
Yeah. In presence, that narrative thread just loosens. It allows the peace that's already underneath to actually surface.
Yeah.
The pain, the tension the mind creates, it can just dissolve.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, that inner peace leads right into the second benefit, what the Source calls spiritual clarity.
Okay, clarity. How so?
Well, this is where you start to understand your true identity. You begin to realize you're not just your thoughts or the roles you play every day, but you're actually this pure awareness.
Which raises that big question. If you're not your thoughts, then what are you?
Exactly. And presence isn't an intellectual answer to that. It's a direct experience of that underlying essence. Being fully alert, fully conscious, but without the usual filter of, your opinions, your memories, your expectations.
Like seeing things for the first time.
Almost exactly like that, yeah. Without immediately naming or categorizing what you see, just seeing.
And the third benefit sounds incredibly practical, especially for just daily life.
Yeah.
Relationship improvement.
Yes. This one's very grounded.
When you're truly present with someone else, you can listen more deeply, right? And because of that, misunderstandings just happen less often. It sounds simple, but I bet it's much harder in practice,
Yeah.
especially when emotions are running high. Are there situations where presence is like extra tough, but also extra rewarding in relationship?
Oh, that's a great point. Yes. It's especially valuable and rewarding in moments of conflict or strong emotion because presence lets you respond from a place of wisdom rather than just knee-jerk reactions or old patterns. You're not just sitting there waiting for your turn to talk or mentally building your counter-argument.
We all do that sometimes.
We do. But in presence, you're genuinely hearing them, seeing them, connecting, and the forces offer a really simple but powerful practical tip for cultivating this.
Oh, good. Something we can actually do.
Yes. Take a little time each day, maybe just a few minutes, to simply observe your breathing.
Just watch the breath.
Feel it.
Yeah.
Each inhalation, each exhalation. And the key is, don't try to control it. Just notice it.
Okay.
Your mind will wander off. That's what minds do. It's okay.
It will, definitely.
Just gently bring your attention back, like training a puppy,
Yeah.
Gently guide it back. And another thing, try noticing things around you without judging them. Sounds, colors, movement. Just notice.
Small practices.
Small practices done consistently, they gradually teach you how to live in presence more often. So I think the really profound realization, the big takeaway from this deep dive, is that presence isn't really something you do. It's not an activity. It's more something you are, or maybe something you become.
Right. It's a state of being.
Exactly. The moment you kind of step away from the constant noise of the mind, you start to feel your actual existence, your true existence, which is, according to the Source, always calm, always pure, always aware.
Like finding the still water deep below the stormy surface.
That's a perfect analogy. Yes.
It's really incredible how something so seemingly simple, like just watching your breath, can be a doorway to something so fundamental, so powerful.
It's deceptively simple.
But it leaves me wondering, if presence itself is so powerful, can we go deeper? Could we maybe leverage something even more fundamental, something always with us, like our own physical sensations, our body? Could the physical body itself become like a gateway to being even more deeply present?
Yeah. That's precisely the question to carry forward with this, isn't it?
Yeah.
The idea that our physical form, our body, might be a direct line, a conduit to an even deeper state of presence. Well, that's a really fascinating thought, and certainly a topic ripe for future exploration.
You know that feeling, just constantly stressed, maybe pulled in all directions, and sort of disconnected from right now.
Oh, absolutely. It's like we're swimming in information and finding real peace, real clarity. It feels almost impossible sometimes.
Right. We're all sort of looking for that quick way, that shortcut, just to be present, to be here.
It's a huge struggle. And, the things we often try, they can feel so complex or like they take so much effort. But what if that peace isn't something you have to get to, but something you can access, like right now?
Okay, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We want to unpack a really simple but pretty profound way to anchor yourself.
Anchor yourself in the present.
Yeah, in the present, and kind of dissolve that tension almost instantly.
Sounds good.
So we're drawing insights from Eckhart Tolle's wisdom, specifically from excerpts of his work, originally titled Agaton Kanam Proding,
Kanamana Ana Padam,
which translates to inner body, peace, and connection to the present. Makes sense. Exactly. And we're really focusing on Chapter 6, Antarakshariya Kaigan, the knowledge of the inner body.
So our promise today is, well, not just to define this inner body, but really explore why it's such a powerful tool.
And crucially, how you can actually experience it. How you can use it to turn that daily stress into, well, calm, based right on the source. And it really kicks off with this powerful quote from Tolle. He says, "Avke andar ek aisi jaga jahan hamesha shanti hai, cha andar stress ki koi jaga nahi."
Which means?
There is a place within you where there is always peace, where there is no place for pain or stress. Okay, that points right to it, doesn't it? This core idea.
It really does. People talk about mindfulness a lot, but Tolle's concept of the inner body, it feels like a very direct route.
How so?
Yeah.
What is it exactly? Is it just our physical body?
Well, that's the key point. It's not just your physical anatomy, skin, bones, organs, all that. It's more like the energy within that.
Okay.
The source describes it as your inherent energy field, like the life force, the aliveness flowing through you.
Right. Okay. So that's where the shift in perception happens. 'Cause
Yeah.
normally we just think of our bodies as, solid things, objects.
Exactly. And Tolle points out that when you only see it that way, as just the outer form, you kind of get trapped by it. But the really revolutionary part is when you start to feel the energy inside, the aliveness. That's when you actually have a direct experience of your own consciousness.
Wow. So it's moving from thinking about your body to actually feeling your deeper self.
Precisely. It's an immediate shift.
And that's why it's such a powerful anchor to the present moment, because feeling is happening now.
That's it. Our minds, they love to drag us into the past, memories, regrets, or into the future, worries, plans.
Always busy?
Always busy. Tolle says the mind thrives on concepts and time, but the inner body, it's pure sensation, it's presence, it's now.
So it just bypasses the thinking mind.
Completely.
Yeah.
That's why it quiets things down so fast. It's not about mentally trying to stop thinking, it's accessing something else entirely.
And the benefits are tangible, like right away.
Yeah, surprisingly so. The source is really clear. Just bring your awareness into your body, and discomfort, pain, stress, they start to dissolve.
That's quite a thought, that the tool to ease tension is literally always right there inside us.
It's a direct, practical solution you always carry with you.
And beyond just feeling less stressed day to day, what's the bigger picture here?
Well, connecting this way isn't just about practical relief, though that's great. It can actually lead you to a really profound sense of inner peace.
Deeper than just calm.
Yeah, like connecting to a higher dimension of yourself. It goes beyond managing stress to unlocking real well-being, maybe even a spiritual connection.
Okay, so if it's this direct path,
Yeah.
how do we actually do it? How do we experience this inner body? Feeling your energy field might sound a bit abstract for some people.
Right, it can sound that way. But the steps Tolle gives are incredibly simple, almost deceptively simple.
Okay, walk us through it.
First, you just close your eyes, helps cut down distractions.
Makes sense.
Then, bring your attention somewhere specific, like your hands or your feet.
Okay, hands or feet. Then what?
And this is the key part. Just feel them. Don't move them, just sense them. Notice any subtle feelings, maybe warmth, tingling, a kind of vibration or energy flow.
And what if you don't feel much or anything?
That's okay too. Don't judge it. Just acknowledge whatever you do feel, or even the lack of feeling. Numbness is also a sensation of the inner body, in a way.
Right, so the mind will probably jump in saying, this isn't working, or what am I supposed to feel?
Oh, for sure. Tolle mentions that. The mind will resist. It'll try to pull you back into thoughts.
So you don't fight the thoughts.
No, not at all. You just gently, patiently keep redirecting your attention back to the sensation in your hands or feet, however faint it is.
Gentle persistence.
Exactly. And then, gradually, you let that awareness expand. Feel it filling your arms, your legs, your whole body.
And just doing that even for a little bit.
Brings you directly into the now. That's what the source emphasizes. It makes it super accessible, really effective, even if it's just for a few seconds between tasks.
Okay, that leads to the practical application. How do we use this when life is chaotic? When stress actually hits?
Yeah, that's crucial. And the tip from Chapter 6 is very direct. Moment anxiety or stress flares up.
Instead of getting lost in the mental story.
You immediately shift your attention inward. Feel your inner body.
Can you give an example, like the office pressure one mentioned?
Right. So say you're feeling swamped at work, deadlines looming, pressure mounting. Instead of letting your mind spiral about everything you have to do.
It was just the natural reaction.
Totally. Instead, just take a moment. Feel your breath. Feel the energy in your hands resting on the keyboard or your feet on the floor.
You're not ignoring the work, but you're changing your internal state while you're in the situation.
Precisely. And the source suggests you'll actually notice the tension start to ease, to melt away. It gives you an immediate, real benefit.
It's kind of counterintuitive, turning towards the body's feeling when you're stressed, instead of trying to think your way out of it.
It really is.
Yeah.
But very powerful.
So thinking bigger picture again. What does this regular practice, this inner body awareness, ultimately reveal to us?
On a deeper level, it starts to shift your whole sense of identity. You realize you're not just this physical body you see in the mirror.
Or even just the thoughts running through your head.
Exactly. You start to sense yourself as this vibrant, living consciousness.
Yeah.
An energy, a presence that's actually underneath all the thoughts and the physical form.
Wow.
And connecting with that inner body, it unlocks this unique kind of peace and vitality. It's really hard to put into words, actually.
A peace beyond description.
Yeah, it's something you have to experience, but it promises a genuinely transformative potential for you, the listener, a deep well of peace that's always there.
So wrapping up this part of our dive, we've seen how this concept of the inner body is presented as this really potent yet simple gateway.
A gateway to presence, to peace, to vitality, a tool you can genuinely use every single day.
It's quite profound for something so accessible.
It really is. But you know, if feeling our body's own energy can be such a direct portal, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If that's one door to the present, to deeper peace, what other doors might there be?
Other portals within us, or just in our ordinary daily lives.
Yeah, portals to maybe even deeper states of consciousness. And how could we, find them? How could you discover and open these other doors?
That's definitely something to think about. Great question to carry forward. Welcome back to the deep dive. So we spent quite a bit of time exploring presence, haven't we? And inner body awareness.
Yeah, really powerful ways to kind of anchor ourselves in the now, to really be here.
Exactly. But, even with those tools, life just feels so fast sometimes. We're always running, planning, or maybe just feeling swamped. And there's often this deeper sort of yearning, isn't there, for a kind of peace that feels just out of reach, no matter what we do or achieve.
That's exactly right. And that really brings us to this profound idea from Eckhart Tolle. He talks about how behind this world, there's a deeper dimension, which is unmanifested.
The unmanifested, okay.
Yeah, think of it like a silent, invisible source, the foundation of everything, really. It exists beyond, physical stuff, beyond time, beyond any specific form.
Right.
But the key thing is, it's a reality we can actually access. And that's our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To look at the specific portals, or dwar, as they're sometimes called. Doorways, exactly. That can lead you, the listener, beyond all that mental noise, the ordinary mind chatter, and into this higher state of consciousness.
So we're aiming for a kind of shortcut, Not just understanding it up here in the head, but actually experiencing it.
Precisely. Getting you a direct feel for that deep peace and freedom he talks about.
Okay, that distinction is really interesting. Because when I first heard Unmanifested, I'll admit, it sounded, well, a bit abstract, maybe mystical, like something sort of out there.
Huh?
How is it something we can feel, something we experience, rather than just, a concept?
That's a great question. And yeah, it's a common way people first approach it. We tend to think unmanifested means something distant, maybe ethereal.
Right.
But Tolle's point is that it's actually the very ground of our being. It's right here, right now, just beneath the surface of all the thoughts, all the forms.
So not escaping reality, but finding a deeper layer in it.
Exactly. Imagine it like the silence between your thoughts, or the stillness that's underneath all the activity. It's like the source code, maybe, where everything arises from.
Right.
It's that fundamental stillness and awareness that's actually always present. We just need to learn to recognize it.
Okay, so if it's right here, accessible,
Mm-hmm.
what are these portals, then, these doorways you mentioned? What are the practical steps, the ways we can actually step into that deeper awareness?
Right. So there are several really powerful gateways. The first one is silence.
Silence, okay.
And this isn't just, the absence of noise around you. It's more about the internal space, where the mind's constant chatter starts to fade.
Ah, the internal noise.
Yeah. And when that quiets down, you start to notice insights, a sense of calm maybe, that you just couldn't perceive before because of all the mental static.
But clearing off a messy desk to see what's underneath, that's a helpful way to think about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then, second, there's stillness.
How's that different from silence?
Well, stillness is more about your state of being. When you're fully present, completely still, not chasing anything, inside or out, just being. A natural peace tends to just emerge. It's like a quiet observation of everything without feeling the need to react or label or judge.
So it's not passive then. It's an active state of non-doing.
Precisely. It's deeply engaged, but without the usual striving. And that's where a really profound sense of peace can unfold.
Okay, silence, stillness. What about our own sort of inner landscape?
Absolutely. Third is inner body awareness, which, as you said, we've touched on before.
Right.
Just feeling that subtle energy field within your body. It's an incredibly direct portal. It grounds you immediately, right here, right now, pulls you away from the mind-spinning stories about the past or future.
They're very tangible, that one. An immediate connection.
It is a connection to the unmanifested that's literally within you.
So we've got silence, stillness, inner body awareness. Are there others?
Yes. Fourth is connection with nature. This is a big one for many people.
How does that work?
Well, when you really observe something in nature, say a mountain or just a tree in your garden or the ocean, but you do it with pure attention without instantly slapping labels on it.
So not thinking, oh, that's a big oak tree, but just feeling it.
Exactly. Feeling its presence, its beingness. When you do that, you kind of bypass the conceptual mind, the labeling mind, and you connect directly with that life force, the unmanifested energy that animates everything.
It's a direct line.
It really is a direct route to something boundless. And then finally, there's surrender.
Ah, surrender. Now that one can be misunderstood, can't it? Sounds like giving up.
It absolutely can. Many people hear surrender and think resignation, defeat, passivity. But Tolle's insight here is crucial. It's an active letting go.
Active letting go of what?
Of resistance. Resistance to what is right now, in this moment.
Okay.
It's this paradoxical act, really. By yielding internally, by accepting the present moment completely, you actually unlock immense inner power and freedom, like a boat finally cutting its anchor and being free to move with the current.
That makes sense. Letting go of the struggle against reality.
Precisely. It dissolves that inner conflict.
So that distinction with surrender is really key. It's not weakness. It's a different kind of strength.
Yeah.
Okay, so when someone really uses these portals, silence, stillness, inner body, nature, surrender, what's the actual experience? What does it feel like? What shifts?
Well, when you genuinely touch the unmanifested, even for moments through these doorways, there's a very distinct feeling. It's a deep sense of peace and a profound feeling of freedom.
Peace and freedom.
Yeah. It comes with this realization, this dawning awareness that life isn't just this linear track of problems to solve or struggles you have to endure or even achievements you need to rack up. You start to sense this eternal dimension behind it all, a kind of quiet spaciousness that underlies everything.
That sounds transformative.
It really is, because that realization, that feeling, it can start to dissolve the ego.
The ego, you mean that sort of contracted sense of me, my story, my problems.
Exactly. That self-centered I that's often driving our fears, our anxieties, our neediness. When that starts to loosen its grip, what arises is this deep inner quiet, a peace that isn't dependent on whether things are going well or badly outside.
Wow. That sounds incredibly liberating.
Yeah.
And as we connect more with this, does it change how we see ourselves fundamentally beyond just the day-to-day?
Oh, absolutely. It leads to this profound shift in understanding who you truly are.
How so?
You begin to realize that your true identity isn't just your personal history, your name, your job, your personality traits, the sum of your experiences.
It's more than the story we tell ourselves.
Much more. You start to glimpse that you're actually part of, well, universal consciousness, this vast, interconnected awareness that underlies all of existence.
So discovering that brings a different quality to life.
Completely. Someone who genuinely touches the unmanifested finds this incredible new depth, a serenity. They start moving beyond the limits of just their personal narrative. Life gains a whole new dimension.
Okay, so this all sounds wonderful, deeply meaningful.
Right.
But what does it mean for us, practically, day to day? How can someone listening start to engage with this without needing to, disappear to a mountaintop?
Right, it needs to be accessible. And it is. There are two incredibly simple yet really powerful ways to begin incorporating this.
Okay, simple is good. What are they?
First, try dedicating just a few minutes each day to actual silence practice.
Just a few minutes.
Just a few, but really commit to it. No phone, no TV, no music, zero distractions. Just sit quietly. And the intention isn't to stop thoughts, but just to feel your own inner stillness beneath them. Let the mind's noise just be there, like clouds passing, without grabbing onto it.
Okay, just sit and feel the quiet inside.
Exactly. And second, consciously connect with nature. You don't need a national park.
Right.
Just, for example, take a moment to truly observe a tree, maybe on your way to work or looking out your window. Feel its presence, its stillness, its rootedness, its quiet aliveness. Try not to analyze it or label it. Just be with it for a moment.
Just be with the tree.
Yeah. These small, simple acts can really open up those powerful doorways we talked about.
So dedicating a few minutes to inner silence and consciously connecting with the beingness of nature, those feel doable.
They really are.
We've explored how these practices, these portals, can bring this incredible personal peace, right? And a deeper sense of who we are, realizing we're part of this larger universal consciousness. That feels huge.
It is. It changes everything, potentially.
But it raises a question for me, maybe for listeners too. Where do we go next with this? If we can find this profound peace within ourselves and find it in connecting with, say, a tree, why then do our relationships, often our closest, most important connections, why do these so often involve so much conflict, so much pain?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah. Can this presence, this connection to the unmanifested, can it actually transform our relationships in the same way it seems to transform our inner world? That's something to really think about. There's this deep longing we all seem to share, isn't there, for relationships that are just, full of love and understanding, real harmony. But then the reality, day to day, it often feels so different. We get caught up in, conflicts, misunderstandings, sometimes real pain even.
It's such a common experience, that paradox. You go in with these high hopes, these ideals, and then the relationship itself starts to, challenge you in ways you didn't quite expect.
Exactly. And that's what we're really getting into today, this idea of enlightened relationships, or in Sanskrit, Prabhut Sambandh. We're drawing heavily from Eckhart Tolle's perspective here, from our source material. And our mission really is to explore how cultivating presence, how that can actually change these challenging relationships, turn them into something like a spiritual path.
Yeah, and what's striking is how Tolle, right from the start, he points the finger, so to speak. He suggests the main cause of all this difficulty. It isn't really the other person or, what's happening outside. It's mostly our own ego, that kind of conditioned self, and the unconscious patterns that come with it. He often talks about the unconscious mind driving those automatic ego reactions. We're just not fully present, often not even aware why we're reacting.
Right, the ego, that voice that's always saying, I want this, or it needs to be my way. It makes sense, but it also sounds a bit intimidating. If the ego is so central, how does this presence thing actually work against it? And what does the source really mean by turning a relationship into something spiritual?
Well, the source lays it out like this. Everyone has an ego. It's just part of the human condition, driven by, desire and control. It's that constant pull for things to fit our idea how they should be, our comfort zone. So when you get two egos together, each one kind of insisting on its own way, Well, that's when things clash, sparks fly. It's why, as Tolle points out, even tiny things, like whose turn it is to take out the trash, that can blow up into this huge battle about respect or feeling slighted, because the ego feels threatened,
Or ignored.
Oh, yeah, the trash example. I think everyone recognizes that one. Okay, so if the ego is behind these everyday flare-ups, what is presence then? How does it actually, dismantle the drama? Presence. Well, in this context, it's about being alert, but also spacious, aware, right here, right now. It's like finding this deep, inner, quiet stillness when you're truly present with someone, maybe your partner. That stillness lets you really listen. You're not just waiting to jump in with your counter-argument. You're not reacting based on old stuff, past hurts. You're just observing what's actually happening without all the usual mental chatter, the ego spin.
Observing, yeah, that feels different. Moving beyond just reacting on instinct. So how does that shift, that awareness, specifically stop the ego during a fight?
Exactly. That awareness, that observation without jumping to judge, that's what lets the unnecessary fights, the misunderstandings just kind of dissolve. The conflict doesn't have anything to grab onto, you see? Because your ego isn't feeding it anymore. You're not trying to win. You're not defending your position like your life depends on it. You're just present with whatever is unfolding.
Okay, so that's the how of using presence in conflict. But what does this enlightened relationship actually look and feel like day to day? When presence becomes more consistent, our source talks about 4 pillars, right? Like a blueprint for this. The first one, and it sounds like maybe the toughest, is acceptance.
Yes, acceptance. And it's key to understand this isn't like passive resignation, not just gritting your teeth and putting up with things. Tolle means really accepting the other person exactly as they are, right now, warts and all, without needing them to change to fit what your ego wants. It's seeing them and the situation completely, without that layer of judgment or resistance. It's a kind of radical surrender to what is.
I can see why that's hard. Our egos are always trying to fix people, aren't they? Yep. Or situations. Okay, then pillar number 2. No past, no future. Now that sounds revolutionary. How can you have a relationship without history or thinking about the future? Isn't our past part of us?
It is. Of course it is. But this isn't about, like, forgetting everything. It's about approaching each moment like it's new. It means you're not constantly dragging yesterday's arguments or old resentments into this conversation. And importantly, you're not weighed down by future anxieties or rigid expectations about how things should turn out. It's about being fully here right now with this person, without all the stories and baggage we usually carry around unconsciously. Think about how much energy goes into replaying old scripts about our partner, right? This encourages a radical kind of freshness, seeing them and the interaction almost like it's the first time, without the accumulated history or the projected fears.
Wow, okay. That goes way deeper than just don't bring up old fights. It's like a mental reset each time. That makes sense. All right, third pillar, love beyond ego. Sounds like the ultimate aim. But how is this different from, regular love?
Well, when love moves beyond the ego, it becomes inherently unconditional. It stops being about what you get.
Right.
How the other person meets your needs or makes you feel good about yourself or completes you. It's just love without strings attached, without demanding something back. It flows from your own presence, from a sense of fullness within, rather than from a feeling of lack or need. It's more like freedom in the act of loving rather than chasing after love.
Interesting. So it shifts from I need you to be to just I am here loving. Okay, and the last one, the fourth pillar. Spiritual growth together.
So the relationship itself becomes a catalyst for both people.
Exactly. It stops being a battlefield where you blame each other for your unhappiness, or even just a source of comfort or satisfaction. It transforms into a shared path, a journey where both people are actually growing in awareness together. It's about evolving, side by side, not being stuck in those old ego dances or trying to use the other person to fill a void. The challenges then become, opportunities. Opportunities to wake up together, to practice being more present. This all sounds amazing. Maybe a little idealistic, too. How do we even start? How do we bring this into our messy, real lives? The source does give a practical tip, doesn't it? Something very simple.
It does, and it's something absolutely anyone can do, like right now, today. The suggestion is whenever you're talking with your partner, or frankly, anyone you care about, just put your phone down, put it aside, and then, with your full attention, your undivided presence, just listen.
Just listen. That's it. No interrupting, no mentally preparing your comeback, no judging. It sounds incredibly basic, but I suspect it's actually one of the hardest things for us now, with constant distractions.
It really is, just pure focused attention. And the source highlights that this single, seemingly small act It can bring a completely new depth to your connection. It builds real intimacy because you're truly honoring the other person, giving them space to just be without your ego jumping in. It's presence in action, right there in the relationship.
So pulling this all together, what's the big picture takeaway? The source seems to be saying that an enlightened relationship isn't about achieving some kind of perfection, right? Not constant happiness or zero conflict.
Not at all, no. It means it's a relationship where both people are making a conscious choice. A choice to step beyond their ego's demands again and again and cultivate more presence, more awareness. And that fundamental shift changes everything. Instead of relationships being this recurring source of pain driven by the ego, they become these incredible avenues for healing, for waking up together, for real growth.
It really is about shifting how we approach it, isn't it? Moving from that self-focused neediness to an open, present way of connecting.
Right.
And, thinking about it, even tiny shifts, like that simple tip, just putting the phone away to really listen, that can start making a real difference. Feels small, but the impact could be huge.
Definitely. It's absolutely a journey, isn't it? Not like a switch you flip, one moment of presence at a time. Which actually leads to this really interesting kind of deep question the source leaves us with. Something to think about. If we really do become more present, more conscious, does that automatically mean we'll just find constant happiness? Or is there maybe a deeper kind of peace, something that exists beyond both happiness and sadness?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Here, we take your sources, unpack them, and really try to cut through the noise to see what matters. Today, we're looking at material you sent that challenges, well, something we all seem to chase. Happiness. I mean, we've all been there, right? This kind of relentless pursuit, it feels like the goal. But what if? What if real peace isn't actually in happiness? What if it's somewhere else?
That's exactly the big idea we're digging into. The wisdom in these sources, it points to something pretty profound, that real peace is beyond joy and sorrow, which suggests, that true serenity isn't about always being happy. It's more about, well, accepting life just as it is, whether the moment feels good or bad. It's a real shift.
Okay, yeah, a fundamental shift. So let's unpack that. Our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how we can find this deeper, unconditional peace. And we're pulling insights directly from the material you shared with us. All right, let's start with that cycle. Happiness, unhappiness.
Yeah.
It feels so familiar. So often, our happiness seems linked to external stuff, doesn't it? Getting the promotion, hitting a money goal, relationships going well.
Right. And what the sources really highlight is how unstable that kind of happiness is. It rests on shaky ground. Because the moment those outside things change, and they always do,
Yeah, they
that
spontaneous.
happiness can just, vanish. Poof. And often unhappiness rushes right in. The material calls them two sides of the same coin, which is such a powerful image. It even suggests, counterintuitively, that constantly wanting happiness inherently brings the fear of losing it. And, well, the fear of sorrow.
Wow, okay. We can definitely see the logic there. It's like chasing something you can never quite hold on to. But still, for most people, happiness is the goal. It's what we aim for. So if it's not this conditional happiness, what exactly is this real peace the source talks about? How's it different?
Good question. Real peace, as it's described here, is an inner state. Crucially, it does not depend on anything external. Zero. It's like an internal foundation you build, not something you get from the outside. And this peace emerges when you manage to fully just accept every moment of your life as it is, which, if you think about it, means freedom. Freedom from being dragged down by past regrets or future anxieties. And when you can find that space, that's where this deep inner quiet comes from.
Okay, that sounds profound. But being present, that phrase gets thrown around a lot these days. How does our source specifically connect being present, really present, to finding this deeper peace? Is it just mindfulness, or is there more?
It's absolutely key. And yeah, more than just a buzzword in this context. When you're truly present, you start to see joy and sorrow for what they are. Just temporary experiences, like clouds passing overhead. They come, they drift by, they go.
Okay.
What's really important is realizing that your core self, your awareness exists beyond those fleeting feelings. That awareness doesn't change, it's stable. And that's the source of the constant peace we're exploring. It's the bedrock beneath the shifting emotions.
So peace isn't about getting rid of discomfort. That's a big mental flip. And the source gives a practical tip for this, right? Something you can use when you feel that tension or distress. Something kind of counterintuitive.
Exactly. Counterintuitive is the word. Our first instinct is always get rid of this bad feeling, push it away. But the material suggests the opposite. Don't resist, just acknowledge it. You can literally tell yourself, okay, this too is a moment and this too shall pass.
Just labeling it almost.
Yeah, and observing it without the struggle, without fighting it. And when you do that, you can sometimes find a sense of peace behind the discomfort. It's like creating space around the feeling instead of being consumed by it.
Hmm.
Like trying to hold a beach ball underwater, the resistance makes it harder. Let it float, just watch it.
Right. That takes practice, I imagine. It really goes against our usual reaction.
Yeah.
So, bringing all this together, what's the end game here? The ultimate realization? Does it mean we just become numb to life's problems?
Not numb, no. The realization, as the source puts it, is that joy and sorrow, they're always going to be there. Part of life's rhythm, its ebb and flow.
Okay, that's realistic.
Yeah. But by finding this inner peace, you start to operate on a different level. These emotions, the ups and downs, they don't control you anymore. The source calls this spiritual freedom. It's a state where you still experience life's highs and lows, but they don't fundamentally destabilize you. You navigate them, you aren't capsized by them.
That is a powerful reframe.
Yeah.
So it's not about dodging the waves, but learning how to ride them, maybe? Changing our relationship to them. Wow, what a deep dive this has been, really thinking about peace beyond that constant chase for happiness.
And it leaves us with a really interesting question, doesn't it? Pulled right from these ideas. If true peace is found in surrender, what does surrender actually mean here? Does it mean giving up? Just accepting defeat? Or could it be, a totally different way of facing challenges, maybe one that actually makes them easier?
That's a great question to mull over. So we've explored finding peace beyond the ups and downs of joy and sorrow today. We definitely encourage you to reflect on that question of surrender and what it might mean in your own life. Maybe something for your own deeper exploration. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to cut straight to the core of a word that, let's be honest, often gets a bit of a bad rap.
Definitely.
That word is surrender. For so many of us, it just immediately brings up ideas of, giving up defeat.
Losing control, maybe.
Weakness. Exactly. All those negative connotations.
But that's precisely the deep misconception we really want to tackle today. Because as Eckhart Tolle puts it, and he's a key source for us here, he says, quite profoundly, surrender is the most powerful act of inner strength.
That really flips the script, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A powerful act, not weakness.
Completely.
So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack what that really means, what genuine surrender is.
Yeah, because it's not about passive resignation. It's definitely not about doing nothing.
Right. It's framed as a pathway maybe to living each moment with a sense of peace.
A profound peace, yes. And that leads to genuine freedom and actually surprisingly powerful action. Clear action.
Okay, so let's dive in. Where do we start with understanding what surrender truly is?
Well, the sources suggest that at its absolute core, surrender means completely accepting what is happening right here, right now.
Without resistance.
Without inner resistance. That's the crucial part.
Okay, so let me see if I'm getting this right. It's our resistance, that internal, no, why me? I don't want this.
Yeah.
That's what actually creates the pain.
That's the idea. The suffering isn't necessarily inherent in the situation itself, but in our internal fight against it.
It's the battle inside.
Precisely. And the moment that transforms things, the real shift, happens when you can genuinely say internally, okay, this moment, it is as it is. I accept it.
You accept it.
Yeah. And that's where the sources say this real freedom begins. You stop feeding the conflict. You stop creating your own suffering, in a way.
Okay, but that brings up a really common point, I think. Doesn't acceptance sound a lot like doing nothing? Like being a doormat?
Ah, yes. The inaction question. It's a huge misunderstanding.
So surrender isn't about inaction.
Not at all. It doesn't mean passivity. It means taking action, absolutely, but doing it without that inner resistance, without the negativity, the complaint.
So you separate your inner state from what you do externally.
Exactly. Think about it like swimming against a strong current. Fighting it just exhausts you, right?
Right. You get nowhere.
Surrender isn't giving up and drowning. It's more like aligning yourself with the current, using your energy effectively within the reality of the situation, not against it.
Okay, let's make that concrete. Say you hate your job. You really want to change it.
A very common situation.
You'd still look for a new job, send out resumes, all that.
Of course, you take action. But the key difference, according to this wisdom, is first you accept the reality of your current job, peacefully.
So accept, okay, this is my job right now, without the constant internal misery and complaining before you act.
Spot on. You accept the isness of the situation first, and what's really interesting is what happens next. When you take action from that state of surrender, from acceptance, the action itself has much more clarity. more power.
How so?
Because it's not driven by stress or desperation or anger. It's calm. It's focused. You're responding intelligently to a situation you've accepted rather than reacting emotionally to a problem you're resisting.
That makes sense. You're not fighting reality while trying to change it.
Right. Your energy isn't split.
Okay, that clarity sounds incredibly valuable. What other, maybe deeper shifts happen when someone really leans into this? What are the big payoffs?
Well, the first and probably the most immediate one people notice is inner peace. It sounds simple, but it's huge.
How does that work? Just by stopping the resistance?
Pretty much. When you dissolve that internal fight against what is, the suffering you were creating just dissolves with it. The internal battle stops.
It's like putting down a heavy weight.
Exactly. A weight you might not have even fully realized you were constantly carrying. That background hum of negativity or stress just fades.
And I imagine when that mental noise quiets down, that leads to the next shift.
Yes, which is clarity. When your mind isn't churning with resistance, complaining, wishing things were different.
You can think straight.
You can think straight, make clear decisions, absolutely. But it's more than that sometimes. You might even see solutions or possibilities that were completely invisible before.
Because the resistance was like fog.
That's a great way to put it. The fog lifts, and the path ahead, or even different paths you hadn't considered, become much clearer.
Okay. Peace. Clarity.
Yeah.
What else? You mentioned something about freedom earlier.
Yes, and this is perhaps the deepest shift. Let's call it spiritual freedom. It's this profound realization that your actual being, your true self, isn't defined by or dependent on external situations.
So even if things go wrong externally.
Right. If you lose the job you accepted, or you face a health issue, or a relationship ends, the understanding is that your core sense of self, your okayness, remains intact.
Because it comes from within, not from those outside things.
Exactly. It's realizing your foundation is internal, unshakable, regardless of what life throws at you. It's not about escaping the world, but about realizing your core isn't damaged by it.
Wow, okay. That sounds incredibly liberating. But also maybe a bit abstract for, Tuesday morning when the coffee machine breaks.
Huh. Fair point. It can sound lofty.
Is there a practical tool, something we can actually do in those moments?
Absolutely. And it's surprisingly simple, though not always easy. The source material offers this very direct tip. When you face a situation you can't control right now,
Like the broken coffee machine or terrible traffic.
or maybe difficult news, or someone else's behavior, ask yourself very honestly, can I completely accept this moment exactly as it is right now?
Just ask that question.
Yes. And the impact can be immediate. I know you mentioned traffic earlier.
Yeah, I tried it once, stuck, furious, honking. Then I asked that question. The traffic didn't vanish, but I changed. The anger just went.
That's it, exactly. If the genuine answer deep down is yes, you find peace instantly, because the fight stops.
But if the answer is no, if you're still resisting,
Then the struggle continues, the suffering persists. It really highlights how much of our suffering is self-generated by that resistance. It's almost like a switch.
accept or resist, peace or struggle.
In that moment, yes. And this brings us right back to that core idea we started with.
That surrender isn't weakness,
It's the opposite. It's presented as the greatest inner strength.
because it takes strength not to react, not to fight what you can't change.
It takes awareness and strength, yes.
Yeah,
And the sources suggest that when you stop resisting life, you paradoxically start to flow with life.
flow with it, not against it.
Exactly. And that flow brings a different quality of peace, a different kind of fulfillment than you get when you're constantly battling circumstances. It's a deeper, more resilient peace.
When you step back, it feels like this idea of surrender connects to so many other things we explore.
It really does. It ties into being present in the now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and awareness, presence itself, even how we relate to others, finding peace in relationships.
The inner body, portals, they all seem to converge on this fundamental acceptance of the present moment.
So for everyone listening, the real question, the challenge maybe, is, can you actually apply this? Can you bring this wisdom into your everyday life?
Think about the next time you feel frustrated or anxious or things aren't going your way. The traffic jam, the unexpected bill, the difficult conversation.
Instead of that immediate internal no,
Mm-hmm.
can you pause?
Can you ask yourself, can I accept this moment as it is? And even if you can't change the external, can you choose not to add inner resistance to it? Can you act from that place of acceptance?
Just imagine how your life might start to feel different if you practice that. Not perfectly. Nobody's perfect.
Of course not. but just practicing it, embracing surrender, not as giving up, but as accessing that core inner strength.
Because understanding these ideas is one thing, right?
Absolutely. The real test, the real adventure perhaps, is to live the power of now, not just understand it intellectually.
Go out there and try it. See what happens.